Level 1. Beginner Investor. You open your investment account for the first time. The screen looks simple. Buy, sell, numbers moving up and down, but none of it feels simple. You deposit your first $500, not a large amount, but enough that it matters to you. You scroll through stocks, companies you recognize, businesses you've seen your entire life. You're not just buying a price, you're buying a small piece of something real. That idea takes time to understand. You make your first investment not to trade it, but to hold it, to see what happens over time. You start paying attention differently, not just to prices, but to what the company actually does, how it makes money, why people buy from it, why it grows or doesn't. You read more articles, reports, differing opinions. Some focus on short-term moves, others talk about long-term value. You begin to notice the difference. Some people are trying to predict the next move, others are trying to understand the business. That becomes your first real decision, what kind of participant you want to be. At this level, your returns are small, they almost don't matter. What matters is learning how the system works, how markets behave over time, how ownership grows. Because investing is not about reacting to every change, it's about staying in position long enough to benefit from it. And once you begin to understand that, something shifts. You stop watching every movement, you start thinking about the long term, and that is when you move to the next level. You are no longer just learning, you are participating. Level 2, Retail Investor. You invest every month, not when the market feels good, not when prices are rising, every month. $500, $1,000, whatever your budget allows. You set up automatic contributions into your brokerage account. From there, you allocate your money into specific assets, index funds tracking the S&P 500, exchange-traded funds focused on sectors, a few individual stocks you've researched. Your portfolio starts to take shape, not randomly, but by allocation. 60% equities, 20% ETFs, 20% cash or short-term holdings. You begin to understand what diversification actually means, not just owning multiple stocks, but owning assets that behave differently under the same conditions. The market drops, your portfolio drops with it, not 1% or 2%, sometimes 10%, sometimes more. This is the first real test. You don't sell, because you understand something now. Volatility is not risk, selling at the wrong time is. You continue investing through it, month after month. This is called dollar cost averaging. You are not trying to time the market, you are building exposure to it. Your returns are still relatively small, but your behavior is no longer random, it is structured. You track your portfolio, total return, cost basis, allocation percentages. You begin thinking in terms of years, not days. Because at this level, the goal is not to outperform the market, it is to stay invested long enough to benefit from it. And once your portfolio reaches a size where movement starts to matter, your strategy has to evolve. You are no longer just participating, you are building something that compounds. Level 3, Consistent Investor. If your portfolio crosses $100,000, that number changes how you pay attention. A 1% move is no longer abstract, it's $1,000. A strong year in the market can add $8,000 to $12,000 without any additional contributions. For the first time, returns feel real. You stop thinking only in terms of how much you contribute and start thinking about compounding. Your strategy becomes more defined. You set a target allocation, such as 70% equities, 20% fixed income, and 10% cash or alternatives, and you stick to it. You begin rebalancing your portfolio based on those percentages, not on emotions. If equities grow too large, you trim. If they fall, you add. You start focusing on risk-adjusted returns, not just how much you make, but how much risk you take to achieve it. You pay attention to volatility, drawdowns, and how your assets move in relation to each other. Market corrections no longer feel like a crisis, they feel like part of the process. You also begin optimizing taxes by holding assets long enough to qualify for long-term capital gains and using tax-advantaged accounts when possible. At this level, your behavior becomes consistent. You invest regularly, maintain your allocation, and follow your strategy regardless of short-term market movements. Because success here is no longer about picking the right stock, it's about executing the same discipline. And once your portfolio grows large enough, even small improvements begin to matter. That is when your approach shifts again, from simply managing investments to actively optimizing them. Level 4. Advanced Investor. Your portfolio crosses $250,000 to $1 million, and your focus shifts from building wealth to optimizing how it grows. At this level, small percentage increases begin to make a noticeable difference. A 2% increase in returns is no longer minor. It can mean an additional $5,000 to $20,000 per year. You move beyond basic asset allocation and begin refining your strategy. You adjust exposure across asset classes based on risk, time horizon, and market conditions. Equities still drive growth, but you start adding more structure through fixed income, real estate, or alternative assets. You pay closer attention to tax efficiency. You place high turnover investments in tax-advantaged accounts and hold long-term assets in taxable accounts to minimize capital gains taxes. You may begin using strategies like tax loss harvesting to offset gains. You also start evaluating investments based on expected return versus downside risk. Instead of asking, "How much can I make?" you ask, "What is the probability of loss and how large could it be?" Diversification becomes more intentional. You look at how assets behave during market stress, not just during growth periods. At this level, investing becomes less about individual decisions and more about building a system that performs across different environments. Because as your capital grows, avoiding major losses becomes just as important as generating returns. And once your capital reaches a point where access begins to change, the opportunities available to you change as well. Level 5. High Net Worth Investor. Your investable assets cross $1 million, and that changes how the financial system treats you. You are no longer limited to public markets. New opportunities begin to appear, not because the investments themselves changed, but because your capital now qualifies you to access them. You start participating in private investments, including private equity funds, venture capital deals, and real estate syndications. These are not traded on public exchanges. They are introduced through networks, advisors, and financial institutions. The structure is different. These investments often require larger minimums, longer holding periods, and reduced liquidity. Your capital may be committed for 5 to 10 years, with returns distributed over time rather than immediately. In exchange, the potential returns can be higher, but so is the risk. You are now evaluating opportunities based on deal structure, sponsor quality, and expected internal rate of return. You begin working with professionals, such as private bankers, financial advisors, and tax specialists, not to replace your decision-making, but to structure your portfolio more efficiently. Your portfolio becomes more complex. Public equities remain important, but they are no longer your only source of returns. You allocate capital across multiple strategies with specific roles, including growth, income generation, and capital preservation. At this level, the challenge is no longer access, it is selection. Because once your capital reaches this scale, opportunities don't need to be found, they are presented. And as your capital continues to grow, investing stops being something you do occasionally, it becomes your primary focus. Level 6. Professional Investor. Your capital crosses into the $10 million to $100 million range, and investing is no longer something you do on the side, it becomes your primary function. Your portfolio is large enough that performance matters in absolute terms. A 5% return is no longer just a percentage. It represents $500,000 to $5 million in annual gains or losses. Every decision you begin managing your investments more actively. This does not mean frequent trading. It means structured decision-making. You evaluate opportunities based on expected return, downside risk, liquidity, and time horizon. Your portfolio is now diversified across multiple asset classes: public equities for growth, private equity for long-term upside, real estate for income and appreciation, fixed income for stability. Each allocation serves a purpose. You may begin running capital in a more formal structure, such as a family office or an investment entity. This allows you to manage taxes, reporting, and allocations more efficiently. Performance becomes measurable. You compare your returns against benchmarks like the S&P 500. You track internal rate of return across private investments. You evaluate whether your capital is being deployed effectively. At this level, consistency matters more than individual wins. Avoiding major losses becomes a priority because large drawdowns are harder to recover from at scale. Your identity shifts. You are no longer just an individual investor. You operate like a portfolio manager. And as your capital continues to grow, your decisions begin to extend beyond your own portfolio. They start to influence where money flows. Level 7. Institutional investor. Your capital moves beyond personal scale. You are now allocating hundreds of millions to billions of dollars, either through a fund, a family office, or an institutional structure. At this level, you are not just managing money, you are directing where large amounts of capital are deployed. You no longer focus on individual securities, you focus on allocation decisions. How much capital goes into equities, how much into private markets, how much into credit, real estate, or alternative strategies. You invest through managers as much as you invest directly. Hedge funds, private equity firms, venture capital funds. You evaluate them based on track record, strategy, and alignment of incentives. Due diligence becomes critical. You review fund structures, fee arrangements, and risk exposure before committing capital. A single allocation can involve tens or hundreds of millions of dollars. Liquidity becomes a strategic consideration. You cannot move capital quickly without affecting pricing or access. Decisions are planned over quarters, sometimes years. Your capital begins to influence outcomes. Large allocations can support companies, sectors, or entire strategies. When you commit, others often follow. You are part of a network. Other institutional investors, fund managers, advisors. Information flows through relationships. At this level, investing is no longer about selecting assets. It is about directing capital at scale. Because once capital reaches this size, it does not just participate in markets, it begins to shape them. And beyond this level, the scale becomes even more concentrated, where a single decision can move entire markets on its own. Level 8. Billionaire investor. Your net worth crosses $1 billion, and scale changes everything. You are no longer thinking in terms of portfolios, you are thinking in terms of positions. A typical investment is no longer a few million, it is hundreds of millions, sometimes billions, deployed into a single idea, company, or strategy. Your capital is large enough to take ownership, not just shares, control. You participate in major transactions, acquisitions, large equity stakes, strategic investments that influence how a company operates. Public markets are still relevant, but they are no longer your primary arena. Private markets dominate: direct deals, co-investments, large-scale capital placements negotiated privately. Your decisions carry visible impact. When you take a position in a company, the market reacts. When you exit, it is noticed. Liquidity is no longer simple. Entering or exiting a position requires planning, timing, and coordination. You cannot move quickly without affecting price, so you move deliberately. Your network expands. You interact with other large investors, institutional leaders, and executives running major companies. Opportunities at this level are rarely public. They are structured, negotiated, and executed privately. At this scale, investing is no longer about returns. It is about influence, where capital flows, which companies grow, which industries expand. Because at this level, you are not reacting to the market reacts to you, and your decisions begin to shape outcomes far beyond your own portfolio.